It's a very warm welcome back to On Cue Billiards in La Mesa for this Mothlike TV special presentation. It's a full-length 10-ball challenge match, race to 7, between Ken Lautner, 589 Fargo, and myself, Mike Holt, 558. Ken broke the balls in the first rack, and he's made the one. In fact, I think the two fell in the side pocket as well. So he's now looking at the 3-ball as he removes that speed rack. I think this is cuttable, but whether you can hold it for that 4-ball, that's another matter. You could try, but it wouldn't take much bounce off this short rail to make it up past the 8-10. So he seems to be dragging it. Oh no, he played with a bit of force, tried to get around the table, I guess. Well, that did not work out. And so he's probably looking at a safety to get the cue ball behind that little wall of balls, the 985. Pretty big target. As you can see, he's putting a little bit of right-hand English just so the cue ball spins off that direction. Yeah, a little bit more pace would have been ideal. Got me locked up. I can kick at this quite easily. I'm going to call the left centre pocket here, because I think if I can hit the lower side of the 4, there's a chance it goes in the middle, but if it doesn't, the cue ball will come back to pretty much where it is now. Give me every chance of hooking him. I didn't quite make the hook, but I would have had a shot on the 5, or at least been able to hit it. So that was my thinking, my rationale. And what options does he have? Well, if you want to attack, you do a slow roll in the top right. Just pure cueing, stay dead still, no head movement. And it was close, but as you can see, he was never going to have an easy shot on the 5. So I'm thinking about maybe playing a bank here in the left centre and stunning the cue ball on the rail on the right hand side. So if the bank misses, there's every chance the 4-ball bounces and ends up in a safe position over by the 6-ball. Obviously I was trying to keep the cue ball behind the 7, so I would have hooked him if I'd controlled the cue ball, but unfortunately I let it slip a little. But I got the second part right. The 6 has done me a big favour. So there's no attacking option here. You could try and find that wall of ball space once again, but you need to drag it with a lot of right. That's what he's doing. Is the right going to work? No, not really. He's kissed the 9 and left me a shot. Yeah, he needed a little bit more bottom, a little bit more side, and he would have had me in all sorts of trouble. But the 5 doesn't pass the 8. So what I'm looking at here is just potting this and then trying to snooker him and play good safety. I mean, I'm not going to be able to extract ball in hand, I don't think. But what I do want to do is try and get an opportunity. So just chip in the 5 behind the 8-9. Yeah, a little bit more pace on the cue ball would have been ideal. This is quite an easy kick. And he's going to try a kick and stick, I think. I was just looking there to see if he could do rail first to pot it, which is tight, but he's aiming to play full into it. And you see he had backspin on the cue ball there. But instead of stunning the cue ball, it drew back. So he's left a chance. And early in this match, I'm trying to feel my cue and get a bit of a stroke going. And this will be an early test to see whether I've achieved that. Not quite. But that could have been worse. The cue ball very easily could have dropped in that top left, and then that would have been game over. Well, certainly a great chance for Ken. Whereas now, I think he has to play some sort of safety, maybe try and get the cue ball behind the 8-9. not ideal. Wanted the 5 a little bit thicker, I think, and then he had a chance. So I'm just cutting this 5 onto the 6, or trying to, and then getting the cue ball behind the 8-9. So I hit the 5 too thick and hit the outside of the 8, so didn't make either of my objectives. But certainly not easy. You could try cutting this in the centre and disturbing the 6, but Ken's going to try and bank it cross side and just stun for the 6. And didn't cut it quite enough. A little bit too full. So I'm looking at a draw shot, putting this 5 in the top left, drawing onto the long rail on the right and back out for the 6 down this right hand long rail. And that one felt a little bit better. A bit of confidence returning. As I'm looking at this 6 ball, I can just draw across, play off the left hand long rail and come back to the middle of the table for the same type of shot on the 7. And that looks pretty good. I can now safely play this one with a bit of bottom trace of right hand English just to get below the centre pocket on the left hand side, and then back out somewhere near the middle of the table for the 8. And it's the same type of shot once again, only this time there's a little bit more finesse, just a soft draw shot, again with a bit of right hand English outside to try and get the cue ball in a similar position to where it is right now. And then don't hit this too hard. You're trying to get as straight as possible on that 10. And I did manage to get through it a bit too much, but not that much that this becomes a twitcher shot. I'm still feeling confident about this, just really fixing the point in my brain on the side of that 10 ball. And a tiny trace of right English just to help throw that ball in. So I get the first rack, and I'm breaking, rack 2. Kind of break can I manage? It's a dry one. Nothing easy left for Ken. He's got a very thin shot on the 1 in the top left. And if you were playing that, if I was playing it, I'd play with the dab of left English to try and keep the cue ball above the line of the centre pockets and still have a shot on the 2. But he's not called anything. And he has in fact cut the 1 in. But volunteers to me that he wasn't trying it and gives me the table as I have an option. So it seems, it would appear that he just played a safety, even though he caught it perfect thin cut. So I'm trying to play this. I want to check the cue ball a bit and come straight back up. But the right hand side I put on is too much, and I've drifted into the off angle side of the table. I didn't need any English as it happens. In fact, if anything, a trace of left English might have given me a better shot. But I'm going to cut this in. And if I play a lot of draw, I can draw off the 10 and hopefully stay above the 4. But where's the cue ball going? And of course, the 10 ball has dropped right behind the 4. So Ken has a relatively straightforward combination to level the match at 1 each. And people might say that's unlucky, but the bad shot was to finish so thin on the 3 ball. And when you play a shot like that, anything can happen. Nice combo there. Well done, Ken. So he's level the match and breaks in rack 3. I gave him a bit of juice, but not a favourable result for him. Well scattered. And he's hooked me on the one, I think, so I'm probably looking at a push. Well, I don't think I realise that I've got a push-out opportunity. I've called the side pocket and I'm swerving to hit the one. So this is an oversight on my part. Managed to make the contact and it's a good hit. But I could have pushed out there. So that's a little bit of a slip up. Obviously distracted myself with my whole footwear scenario. So there's a shot here for Ken. I'm trying to put this in the bottom left and just stun to the long rail and back out for the 2. Missed the 1, found the scratch, and he's given me a nice opener. Just got to position this so I can collide with the 9 and leave myself on the 2. Yeah, got the double kiss on the 9, not exactly as planned, but I'm still okay. But I don't know how easily I'm going to be able to get up for that 3 ball. Got to use the bridge. And the draw shot is fraught with danger because you're probably going to hit the 9. And you're not going to necessarily be able to draw through it. You should play with top and right, which is what I've done. And I've managed to get a gap, so I'm okay. Now, this 4 ball will go if you're right behind it. If you're right behind it, dead straight, you can just drop it in and you'd have a shot on the 5. So I'm going to play a slow drag shot with a lot of left English. So the cue ball's going to swerve a bit on its way to the 3. So I'm aiming a bit thick, knowing that this spin is going to throw the 3 in. I didn't quite get enough left. And so my line of approach is a little bit more acute than I would have liked. So I don't fancy this cut anymore. It's all day and all night. It's going to hit that near point. Looking at the combination, I mean, 4 onto the 8 is an option, but if you make it, the 4 goes safe. So there is a shot to carom off the 4 and knock the 8 in. But you either play to go directly into the 8, so you hit the 4 fairly thick, or you hit the 4 as thin as you possibly can. Super, super thin. Shave the paint and then bounce off the rail. And that's the thing I'm trying. But I hit it way too thick. And, yeah, fluffed it basically. So certainly didn't get the 8 and didn't get a good result. So Ken has a chance now to do something. I think he's probably playing the top left. Oh no, it's just the safety. Banking the 4 up and down and trying to hide the cue ball, but that's going to dress up for me. A little thin. So I've played a couple of these with a bit of inside English, and that's what I'm going to, I fancy the shot here. Play with a lot of dragon right-hand side to get the cue ball onto that long rail before the side pocket and then back out. So I've got the 5. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident with those. Slightly off straight. And the cue ball will be travelling down towards the short rail. So I'm thinking I can just draw back across the face of the 10 and get somewhere near the middle pocket. Actually, I didn't get the backspin and ended up just stunning into the 10 and stopping the cue ball. So now this is very thin. But I'm fancying the inside, because the inside would definitely help throw the 6 to the left. And it will also kill the cue ball's pace off the short rail. So I should stay fairly close to the 7. And yeah, that's coming quite nicely. Now this is the one, if we can make this, the game's there. But this time I've got to draw it in with bottom and left. Got to try and hit the long rail 1 diamond up from the left centre pocket, and then spin all the way back down behind the 8. Well, what happened? I hit it too thick. I drew all the way to 1 diamond below the side pocket and missed the 7 by a mile. But could have been worse. If I was Ken, I'd probably try the thin cut here. And your cue ball's going to come round 3 rails towards the 8. If you hit it too thin, it definitely goes safe. If it's too thick, you can leave it on, that's for sure. What does Ken think? Well, he's just trying to bank it past the side pocket, I think. And this is the real chance. Once again, it's one of those true tests of stroke and cueing. Are you aligned? Are you going to deliver the cue through nice and straight? This is one you really should make. But the stroke's not quite reliable as yet, and hit it too thin. I've left Ken an even more inviting 7 ball than the one I had. This one is a bit thicker, and you can just play power forward onto the short rail and then come straight back down the middle of the table. And that's a beautiful strike. Lots of topspin. You saw the little arc as the cue ball left the 7, and yeah, that's perfect. So that one shot alone deserves this rack. And I don't expect a player of Ken's experience to mess this up from here. Just a stun out, leave a straight 10. But where's the cue ball going? Where's it going? Well, it was on its way. He had his heart in his mouth for a second. But never mind. The 10's going down now, and it's 2-1 to Ken. Well played, sir. And Ken with the break. In rack 4, cue ball flies off the table. So I will gratefully accept a ball in hand and see what I can do. I think straightforward case, a bit of bottom and left, and just make sure you get down the table. 2's hanging literally over the pocket, so I think I could just draw straight back to the top of the table. But then I realised there is a spot in the top of the table where you can't even hit the 3, and that's the spot that I draw the cue ball into. No more, no less, just that much. But I mean, I chose that line, so it's on me, right? I didn't have to get anywhere near the 9, let alone. When drawing back, it's kind of hard to judge sometimes. I'd much rather be playing forward with top and just following it. You can gauge that a lot better. But when I especially hit it quite hard with backspin, it could suddenly bite, and the next thing you know, you're miles away. So I'm trying to dart, jump. I don't like the way this feels, so I think I end up doing it with no bridge on the table. Yeah. Where was my striking point? Well, I just drove the cue ball directly into the 9. So I think I need to practice that particular jump shot. Yeah, the dart. Very useful when you're close to a ball. And in that situation, actually, I think in 8-ball last week, 2 of my opponents used the dart method to play excellent jump shots. One, in fact, Ruben, as Ken puts the 3 there, he did a break and run, and he was snookered on the 8-ball, and he did a beautiful dart jump and potted the 8 and completed his break and run. It was excellent. That contributed to them winning the match. Nice shot from Ken, puts in the 4, and he's shaping for the 5. It's just a little tiny stun, draw, maybe 2 inches back. Just want to try and get the cue ball off the rail really more than anything. Just stun directly out into the middle of the table, that'd be good. Yep, well that'll do. He potted it on the left side of the pocket, so I had the cue ball stayed quite close to the rail. You can still do this. I think try and just play off the right hand long rail and get across for the 7. Looks good. It's very good. And he's got a nice angle here. You just have to watch that he doesn't hook himself behind the 10. That's the worst thing you can do, right? Right now, if you play forward, I play with a little bit of left. Do you see it in the centre? We stunned it a bit. Well, this isn't very pleasant. Yeah, it could have been a lot easier. I'm sure Ken will be thinking that. You could try cutting it in the middle. That's a horrible shot. I'd go for the top right if I was Ken. Just push it forward with top. You're going to have a shot on the 10. It'll be a long shot. Well, he goes for the thin cut. Is he going to get cover? No. No, it's a tiny bit off straight with the cue ball drifting towards the short rail. So I'm going to try and just draw back. What was I saying before about drawing back? Just 3 inches. 2 inches, 3 inches. Instead of which I've drawn back about 9 inches. And I've left myself a real tricky one. You've got to bear down on this. Focus. Try and get that alignment. Keep that little point in your head. It's hard to see when it's so close together. I'm just trying to play a little draw and make it thick. A hair thick, well, that's all it took. I could have left it easier for Ken. This is a bit dicey, but I don't think it's cuttable. He's looking if he's what the scratch looks like. Oh, is he going to cut it in? Looks to be going almost past the middle pocket from here. Oh, he's unlucky. Now this surely will be 2 each. I think playing this with backspin was a bad idea. I kind of give the game away, haven't I? I should have just stroked this in, just you know, above centre. Why all the pace and backspin? And of course, I put it on the left jaw, miss it, and I present Ken with this 10 to lead 3-1. So a little turning point here. That's definitely one that got away. But these situations are what you've got to train for. Okay, you've got a disappointment, Ken's 3-1 up, but you've got to stay upbeat and just focus on the next game, the next shot. That's all you can really focus on is your next shot. Speaking of which, I'm going to cut this in with a lot of left-hand English. It helps me get the very thin cuts. Slightly below centre. People are going to check like crazy. And where's it going to finish? Oh, there you go. Almost hooked. Let's see. Oh yeah, I call the cross corner double, don't I? I'm playing this with a lot of right hand side, and you've got to watch out for the double kiss. Well, that could have been worse. Suppose he's got a cross corner bank. That could be where the cue ball path is. He's looking at. He wants to make it up 2 rails and have the 3 in the left centre. Good. didn't quite cut it enough, a little bit too thick. So he's left me an opportunity. He's got to try and avoid the traffic in potting this. Now, a bit of top and a trace of the right, but a little bit too much of the right. That was crazy. I'm out of check. Yeah, just totally overdid it. Got the jump stick out here. I'm trying to bang this through in the top left. Not going to have much of a shot on the 4. The 7's locking it, but hey ho. Well, that'll do. I'll take it. But can't do a great deal here. I think I'm going to try cross corner, bank in the bottom left. It's a little bit thick. So once again, you've got a double kiss to contend with as you're playing, trying to get the cue ball past the 4. Hitting it that thick, it's a bit dicey. And I could hit it thinner and just try and get the cue ball all the way back up the table, maybe high the 4. And how's it going to finish? Well, there's a shot for Ken. Just checking if the 5 does pass the 8 into the side, but I think you'd be better off playing for that in the corner pocket myself. Maybe in the same corner as he's putting the 4 in. Or is it too thin? And this is almost a hook. I think I've got to play to miss it with tons of right. Cut it in. Yeah, perfect. Nice kiss on the 8 ball too. I've got a shot on the 5 now, can hold for the 6. Just have another little look at that line. And try and put a good stroke on it. Looks a little bit flat. If I want to pop across for the 7, I'm going to have to put a little bit of power in this. Just strike centre ball, really. And try and hit it nice and loose. And generate that movement. That looks okay. Yeah, that's okay, that is. I can play 2 rails for the 8. That's probably the best way to do it. And then just get past the pocket line, please. Okay, I think I can just get back up for the 9. Or back down, I should say. It's a bit straighter than you'd like. So I'm forcing it a bit. It would like a bit more movement down table. The choice is here. Put the 9 in the bottom right. Play with top and right hand English. Get the cue ball forward off that right hand long rail and across to the left. Try and stay above the 10. But priority here is to pop the 9. Made the 9 just and got past the 10, but not hard enough. So it's a cut back. Just check it out. Fix that point in my mind. There it is. Just try and stroke it in with a gentle above centre striking. Avoid the middle pocket scratch. And it's down. But where's the cue ball going? Oh dear, oh dear, oh. The last roll of the ball. So I'm back in it at 3-2, breaking. And I think the 9 off the break, but the 1 is pretty safe. What do you do? Suppose you can play 1 ball. Oh, I'm playing down table. Cut it in. Past the 4. Some sort of backspin and maybe a bit of left on the cue ball. This would be a good one if I get this. Yeah, miles out with the pop, but not a bad cue ball. I'm going to leave it. Yeah, come far enough. You can cut that in. And the line will take him past the 3 and back up toward the 2. You can avoid hooking himself behind the 7. I think it's just a plain ball stroke. Well, he did collide with the 3. But that ain't too bad. You can make the 2 from there. Just got to avoid contact with the 10 and getting round for the 3. Try and make a tight angle to take the cue ball with a bit of bottom towards the right hand top pocket, and then flick around that 2 rails and back down the table. That's exactly what he's done, but he's hit the 8 full ball. That's cursed. The cursed 8 ball got in his way. And he was nicely on the 3 if he didn't collide there. So just a safety thing. Is he cutting it in? Yeah, just a hook. Nice. So falling a jump bank. After the performance of the last one, I'll be glad if I can get over the 8 here. Oh, that was very low on the cue ball. That's a bit of a joke. Yeah, I need practice with the jump, that's for sure. I'll speak to James Garcia, he's the guy. Yeah, but just having a conversation, he's saying that I hit the cue ball too near the middle. I actually think I hit that one near the bottom. I have to go back and look at that. So 3 to 4 to 5 is Ken's challenge. Looks to be trying to draw above the 4 in the bottom right. And have a little angle. So I can come out for the 5 easy enough. Back for the 5 in the same pocket. Beautiful. Very nice. And now try and stun cue ball. Bit of stun draw. Below that 6, but you've got that 10 to contend with. No, it's slightly hampered by the 7. So maybe just try and float it in. Well, it's a deep draw through the gap. Kisses the 6. So nice effort, really was. And it's still makeable, this. Well, no, it's almost, I was looking at the bank in the corner. That's what he calls. Bottom left. Third close. Just hits the lower jaw. But that's not too shabby. Pretty much hooked me. I think there's the tiniest of edges. but I'm choosing to try and pot it in the bottom right by swirling around the 8. I got a little bit of twist on it, but not as I would have liked. And the chance falls to Ken. He can negotiate position for that 7 ball with the obstructing 8. In sinking this 6, he can take a 4-2 lead. That looks pretty good. Yeah, that's an excellent shot. The slightest of angles to stun to the left and for the 8. And the perfect shape on this 8 now. Just to float it in. And the cue ball glide forward a few inches. There we are. And just a delicate little roll. And Ken completes his 4-2 lead. And he's breaking now in the 7th rack. Need to do something about this. See if I can get a bit of a run going. He's left me a nice opportunity. Well, it's certainly an easy one to open with. Shaped for the 2, however, not straightforward. Cue ball's naturally going towards the 9 if I play any type of bottom on the cue ball. You could try and draw to the left of it, and then I'd need left English to check it all the way back, try and get past the 3, and you'd be travelling toward the 2 that way. Or you can play it with a lot of bottom right and draw directly onto the short rail and get the cue ball to fire over to the right hand side and come that way. I think I'm just looking to draw into the gap so I can play the long 2 between the 3, 6 and 5. I'll give it a bit too much juice, my intended shapes. So I'll try and do a little swerving turn into the rail and make the 2 that way. Yeah, cut it a little bit off. And what damage have I done? Looks like a simple foot 2. He's working out where to be on the 3 and 4. I think 4 to 5 is probably key. It's not available in the bottom left. You'd have to get below it. So straight-ish on this 3. Can just roll it in, I think. Doesn't have to do anything too ambitious. Could maybe follow forward off that left rail. And just a centre ball. Catches it too thick. And has he got away with it? Looks at first glance as though he may have come back to play the bottom left. Try and cut the 3 to the right, a long rail. You'd need to put it in somewhere between the first and second diamond, I think. That's a bit high. Almost a second diamond. Needs to be lower. If I've got full cover, but might just have blocked the potting angle. Well, he played the bank in the top left. Look at this. got me in all sorts of bother. But I did actually jump and potted a ball very similar to this earlier in the match, so I'm hoping I can repeat that. I'm a bit low on the cue ball there that don't get the elevation. Catch the 6. That's a big error. Giving him a nice chance now to finish these off and get a 5-2 lead. Should put him very strong favourite. Unless it can get me back together and come on a bit of a surge. Yeah, looking good. Just a nice delicate little cut on the 5 here to leave the 6 in the side. And now 7-8 is looking like the challenging shot coming up. Well, 8 of course is available in that top right hand pocket. Ken keeping control of the cue ball nicely here. Got a good angle on the 7. And he's done the cue ball to a nice angle on this 8. The tester, that's for sure. You've got to put faith in your stroke. And just concentrate on getting the best shape you can on that 9. He caught it too thick. He double kissed the 8. And actually, he's left me fully hooked on the 8 ball. Yeah, I'm probably a little bit disgusted on the inside. But then, I said, well, the rolls come and they go. You must play the shot in front of you. In this shot, I'm trying to kick, hit the 8, and make it in the top right-hand pocket. I think, if I recall correctly, I played direct onto the 8 when playing the 2-rail version may have been a better choice. I think it gives you a slightly bigger margin of error. As it happens, I did hit the round marginally before the 8. Nowhere near the pot, but it certainly could have been easier for Ken. It's a thinnish cut into that left side pocket. I think you've got to take it. You've got to take it on. But I think you just got to roll it. Almost baby it. To hold for the 9. He played it with a bit more force. Getting the cue ball around 3 rails. Missed the 8. And once again, I've not got full ball available, but I think I've got enough to cut it in there. And if I do play this cut, I think I'm going to play it with a lot of run inside, top and left. Try and get the cue ball to whip round off 4 rails, get back up the table. But I've overcut it dramatically, and I've collided with the wrong side of the 10. I've hit the lower edge of it. If I hit the upper edge of it or the middle of it and the cue ball stays in the middle of the table, I get away with this. But now I've given Ken a golden chance to consolidate his lead, and I think he's in the consolidating kind of mood right now as he pots the 8 and gets beautifully on the 9. Stuns up table a little, and this relatively straightforward 10 for a 3-rack lead, needing only 2 more to win this first set. Nicely done, Ken. And he's breaking in rack 8. And he's coming up dry. Actually, no, he made one, did he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, he absolutely did. That was the 8 ball. 8 ball off the break. And just a little too thick. And to attempt the 1, but full cover behind the 5. I'm going to swerve this. Quite fancy it. I've had a couple of swerves earlier, got some motion on the cue ball. And it's just a question of gauging how much I shot of my elbow as I made the successful swerve. The cue ball coming on nicely for the 2. I think I'll just follow forward with the left spin. Bit of top left and get down table for that 3. Try not to get too straight. It's a nice angle. I think I can just plain ball this slight top, slightly above centre. Just bounce up table for a nice cut on the 4. That enable me to get easily on the 5. Well, lost the cue ball a little bit, but it's still quite a favourable angle. I think I can bridge comfortably enough up the rail and still play a bit of backspin to go towards the 5. And this gives me a shot. But I need to find a nice pure stroke here because you just got to roll this one in. Maybe a tiny trace bottom and a bit of edge of left. But I've made it too thick. Didn't get the nice stroke on it. I wish I could have that one again. But that's not the way pool works, as it looks. Yeah, twice across for the 6. Nicely done. And you can just, can you stun this without hitting a rail? Looks as though it's fairly thick. Yes, cue ball under control. Well, 6-2 really would be ominous, and it's certainly on the cards. Cue ball travelling nicely up table for the shot of the 9. And people are officially counting the chickens at this point. But no. Oh, and Ken concedes. Disappointed with that miss on the 10. And as your confidence surges, it can very often drain from your opponent. But I've managed to scratch on the break, so presenting Ken with a nice opener. Like this disappointment. It's about getting on the 2, I think. That's the tricky thing. Seems to have a plan in mind to leave a line to the 2. Wow. Deep draw. He's kissed the 3. He can still make this. And if it's possible to get a collision with the 5, I could potentially hold the cue ball for the 3. Nicely played. The 10's just interfered with the 4 a little bit. He's pretty flat on this 3 ball, so where's the position? About round about there. Let's get the cue ball up by the 6. To have a shot at this 4 in the bottom left. It seems to be threading the needle with the cue ball travelling between the 4 and the 9 to make its desired position. It's collided with the 4. But now he's nudged the 4 into a more favourable position to combo the 10 ball. And in fact, he's calling the 10. You've seen this movie before, haven't you, folks? We all know how this one ends. With the 10 in the top left corner pocket. Well done, Ken. So he makes it to 6. He's on the hill, as they say. And breaking the balls in the 10th rack. The 3 is going to fly in. So he's up and running, but he's not got a direct shot at this one. He can, of course, push out. He appears to be sizing up the kick as an attacking option. And at 6-3, they're complaining. I'd be feeling confident too if I was 6-3 up. And would be inclined to chance my arm, given half a chance. There it goes. Yeah, he was too far up the cushion. He misses the 1. Gives me ball in hand. So what do you do? What do you do? I think we're trying to play the gap. We're trying to move the 2. Trying to get past it. None of the above. Yeah, it was a little bit of a willy-nilly type shot. A bit woolly. Wasn't sure what I was doing. So I'm going to play safe here. Hide the cue ball below the 7. That's not bad. Full hook. Sort of bend it a little into the rail. Maybe have a go at the top, the 2 in the top left there. Rail first. Very nice swerve. Just caught a little bit too thin. What's he doing? Is he left this? Left me a thin slice into the top left. I think it does go. Oh no, I'm calling the on the top right. So I'm banking it, playing the cue ball down table again, aren't I? That's exactly what I'm doing. And the cue ball behind that wall of balls. This is probably a bit better than the last one. He has to jump at this, I think. He's going for the short stick. Is it for the first time in this match from Ken? He's taking his time, getting his cue. It does pass the 9. All you got to do is pick your point out. I pick my point on the 8 ball and just aim for that point. He caught the 8. Didn't get the desired elevation. So I have the ball in hand, but the 4 has now gone to a relatively safe position on the left side rail. There's a potential combo 4-6 if you finish right behind it. You could. There's also a few inches where you could get the cue ball near the 6, where you could make the 4 in the top left. But I don't think I'm trying that, am I? I seem to have set up an almost straight 2 ball. I'm following forward then. I'm playing forward to try and play the combo. A little bit too much left, so I'm not straight on the 4, so that's no longer an easy shot. So I'm thinking, can I try and cross corner bank it? I don't think I can. Maybe just thin off the 4, get the cue ball up table, somewhere above the 9, off one ring. It's a bit wishful thinking, isn't it? So I've pointed at the corner. Seem to be thinking I can cut the 4 into the rail. And if you get the cue ball back up table, don't collide with the 8. Yeah, if you missed the 8 on the left, you'd have been okay there. But as it happens, you've left a nice sight at the edge of this 4. You can cut this in. It could be curtains. Slightly too thick though. But no damage done. With the 4 running safe. And not particularly easy to play a good safe from here. I'm thinking about all kind of options, but in the end, I think I just cut the 4. Try and put it on the rail, on the long rail, and get the cue ball very, very, very thin off the 4 to come and nestle itself into this bottom cushion somewhere near the middle diamond, just to make it as difficult as I can. Thinking about attacking options is I'd have to play a crazy shot to try and bank it off the 8. So it's definitely just the discretion being the better part of valor right now. I managed to cover quite a lot of the 4. But that's okay. You can't really play the thin edge. You have to play the kick. He's called the left centre. Look at this. Straight in. What about that for a kick? Good timing, Ken. Now, he's a bit awkward because he's under the rail. And it's like 3/4 ball thick. You just got to try and float it in. Hit the rail before the 8 ball. Should have the 6 in the bottom left. Just make this 5. It should be all over. But he's overcut that by a few inches. I have a reprieve. Chance to redeem myself. Steal back another rack. think I'm top right on this, running around the angles. What's my line of approach like? It's not bad, you know. This is a 2-railer coming, both long rails out for the 7. Get past the pocket line, please. So I can use the long rail. Got enough angle to do that. That'll make getting up to the 8 easier. Yeah, and now you just got to be careful. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be? Go and have a look. I might to be thickish, but slightly to the above the pocket line. Cue ball was running wild there, really. Could have gone anywhere, but I've got a thickish 9. I think I'm going to play this with a like top, bit of stun and left. Now I've got this mid-distance 10. Big 10 ball. What about that then? My goodness. Yeah, I didn't strike it with the conviction required, I don't think. Ultimately, you have a moment to compose yourself, and then you've got to get down and knock those guys in. I suppose I should count myself lucky the 10 finished where it did. Certainly could have stayed right in the jaws on a lot of tables. And Ken, once again, generously gives me the game. And balls are moving, but nothing towards pockets, unfortunately. And what for left here for Kenneth? I think there's a thin cut on the 1 ball. Maybe playing with a trace of left. Get the cue ball over towards the 2. Ken happy to play safe, trying to hide the 1 behind the 3 there. He's done that very successfully. I think I try and swerve into the rail with a loss of right-hand side to come off and flick the 1 down into the bottom right, which is the pocket I've called. Little bend shot. Not a million miles off. Not all that spin has checked up the cue ball. Something beautiful behind the 7. This is a real tough snooker. He's looking down there. I think he's got to be playing off the left-hand long rail, just past the middle pocket, come down at the lower bottom cushion, and then right-hand side long rail before it's in the 1 from behind. I think that is a 3-rail shot that's on. Can catch the rail just right. Having a good old think about it, as he needs to do. Yeah, but that's the sort of line we're talking now. 1, 2. Unfortunately, hit the 4 ball. Needed a little bit of English, especially off that 2nd rail. First thought, I'm going to just push the 1 forward and hide behind the 4. But then I think, well, what if you put the 1 in off the 7 into the middle pocket, and it was on. So I suddenly think again, Is that the right thing to do here? Try and snooker him when I've got this opportunity? Maybe not. Maybe you should be going for this. So I think I'm going to pocket the 1 in the bottom right corner pocket with a nearly full shot of the cue ball and draw directly up between the 7-9 toward above the 2. Or you play the follow forward shot off the end rail. Now I'm playing the backspin shot. Yeah, actually the follow forward shot was a slightly better angle of approach. Yeah, just follow forward onto this end rail and then come up that way. You've got about 6 feet or so to approach the 2 with the shot at it. So that goes down as a wrong choice of shot. Interesting how it looks at the time. So a lot of bottom and left. Sorry. Oh, put the 8 in. You've got to laugh, haven't you? So he's got the option here. And for some reason, he gives me the option to play again. Very generous of him. Maybe feeling a bit sorry for me there on 4 racks while he's on 6. But I don't care. I will take the opportunity. Bit of a dicey little cut this. Called it too thick. I was playing it with a bit of right-hand side, so cue ball's ended up where it has. I think this is a viable shot for Ken. Just got to stroke it, I think. And the cue ball should still finish with a long shot on the 3. No need for any great power. But it all depends how he sees it, of course. And he powered it all right. But missed it and has left a thin option here. I'm going to cut it in. Oh yeah, I'm going to cut that in. It's thin. It's mighty thin. But I think I can chip the paint off that too and make it in the top right. There you go. How about that? I'm going to just roll this 3 in the bottom right. Get below the 4 in the top left. Just nice smooth stroke through the 3. Keep your head down. Follow through. Bounce, please. Little bounce. Little bounce makes all the difference. It's almost full ball this. That's the left of the pocket, I'm afraid. But the 5 has come to the rescue somewhat. It's certainly not an easy rail first. He's called the bottom left. Wants to kick at this from above all the way down this bottom left pocket. Well, you have it travelling in the right direction, that's for sure. And is the 9-10 going to save him? Or actually, I think I've got a sight of this. So I'm thinking now, the 9 and 10 are blocked. if I can come off the rail and just graze the left of the 9, just the left of the 9, I'll spring them open and I'll continue my journey up table towards the 5. So it's a question of gauging the amount of backspin and right hand side just to graze that 9 ball. And I missed it by a bit of a distance. So unfortunately, that split on the 9-10 has to wait for another day. I'm thinking I can cut anything in at the moment, so I'm going to try and cut this one in. Why not? Cut it in and with a check side, so that's right hand side in this instance, to try and get a shape on the 6. Go on, son. No, not quite that time. And is it going to drop? No, it stays out. I've hooked in behind the 7. Sorry for my laughing. It's funny sometimes though. We're just discussing that shot I tried to try and flick off the 9. Ken was agreeing he would have done the same thing. So let's see how Ken does with the dart method. Having a few practice swings. He's striking very low there, isn't he? Very low. Maybe too low. Yeah, I think I did that earlier. Very similar. Got to strike toward the equator of the cue ball. You can go below the centre, but you've got to be toward the equator. If you're too low, I don't think it's so easy to get the elevation. But now, this should be a fairly straightforward 3 balls up here. But what do you do about the 9? I'm already thinking I can just finish below it. It does go in the left side pocket if you're dead straight behind it. If I get the right angle on the 7, of course I'm going to roll forward and try and just kiss into the 10. But depending where I finish, I just want to make sure I've got an angle. Don't want to finish above it. No way. Got to get, sorry, below it. Got to get above it. And I think I'm in the position here I can follow it in. The cue ball's probably going to go to the left of the 9. So I'm just playing right past it. And I'm thinking, first of all, I'm going to go for the 9. 9 goes in the middle. Commit yourself 100%. But then I think, what if I can just stun the cue ball frozen to the 10? Just put the 9 up the table. So I get up, think, oh, maybe that's a better option. I get straight back down, and instead of stunning the cue ball, as you can see, I draw back about 4 or 5 inches, and I leave him a full side of the 9. Bit disappointed. I probably should have got up and recomposed, because it's such a big decision as a change of shot. Just that little momentary reset I don't think was sufficient to really gather myself. So that's a little learning point on that particular scenario. So can Ken finish it off right here? And goes for the top left. I would have personally preferred the top right myself. And this should be unmess-upable to tempt fate. Or unfuckable, as you might say. And surely not. I should be able to make it 6-5. Trace aside always helps in that scenario. Here we go then, with the break, rack 12. Could do with getting one in and shape by the one. First, No such luck to dry break. But I don't think it's a straightforward run to the line for Ken. And he'd just be trying to hide the cue ball. Yeah, that was his objective. One's come out. But I'm thinking about trying to use the 3-5 to hide behind it, but hard to impart spin when you're under the rail. So I need to try and bank with one. Past the middle pocket for sure. Well, I got fortunate. Because the one's hanging over the middle, but collision on the 5 means he's got to jump at this. This one you'd fancy yourself to make, though, I think. You could get over that 10 comfortably enough. Bounce just before the 5. Oh, it's gone wrong. Double kiss has scratched. Got a nice opportunity. Let's run on to the 5, which is stuck to the 8. Maybe I could leave an angle on the 3 to draw into that. Flick it, open. Maybe travel a bit more. I might have the angle so I can play with a lot of right and screw off the rail, flick the bottom of the 5, try and stay on the 4. Well, I can't complain, that's available. 5, unfortunately, is still not open. So I think I'm going to go again. But can I get that cue ball? I've got to try and collide with the 8, or at least split the 5-8. Hit the gap between the middle of the 2 balls. Well, I've hit the 8. I've hit the bottom of the 8. And it's just drifted in front of the 5 ball till it'd be fully hooked. So I already hit this. I think I'm going to go for the gap between the 8 and the rail with a lot of left. That'll hit the short rail. It'll check back. It'll hit the long rail again, and then it'll hit the 5. Hopefully, I'll make a good hit because the 8's wired to hit the rail. So if I can hit the top of the 5, or the right of the 5, then I could be golden. Yep. A little left. Shame you can't see my cue ball striking. A little left. Checks back. Here's the 5. And that isn't a bad hit. Certainly not left him easy. He's going for the cross side bank. Maybe has to play it with top spin if he wants to get on the 6. Unless he'll play short side, of course he could draw back off the 5 below the 6. As his preference. Oh, just hit the point. Then I think I can cut this in, can I? There's cuts. And just because I float it in very, very thin. push through that gap. Hopefully get above the 6. That's okay. A bit flat. Let's try and get ideally on the 7. But I fancy just screwing this in, or drawing it in, I should say, and coming directly back up the table through that same gap between the 9 and the long rail. And I fancied that. And I've got a shot now on the 7. I'm just going to try and follow forward. I want to hit the short rail between the 8 and the 10 and then go straight back up. No collisions, please. Well, I got my gap, but I'm traveling a little further than maybe I wanted. But I think I can punch this in. A bit of left spin. This line looks okay. A slightly short base to make it ideal. I've now got to be travelling slightly away from the 10, as opposed to being able to travel toward it. I could try something ambitious, but I think the shot is just to drop the 9 in. Take your medicine, as they say. And do what you have to do. Now then, somebody there playing a shot on the table very close to my line of vision. Next table. Got up, took a pause. Basically, I felt a little bit distracted. And I tried to reset. And that, I'm afraid, was a bad stroke. Yes. This is now over to Ken to deliver the coup de grace. And I shall come back, lick my wounds and come back more determined next time, Kenneth. But well played, my friend. Well-deserved win. 7 racks to 5. Well played, sir. So thanks for tuning in, folks, and we hope to see you all again soon on Mothlike TV. Please like and subscribe for more videos like this one.